Caseus, Jedi Master. Chapter 2. Caseus sat under the dark skies of Blengiel, as the light from the suns began to creep slowly over the distant dunes. He was deep in meditation, the cool breeze gently rushing over him as he reached out. Master Takai, I don't know if you can hear me. I just want you to know that I miss you. I want to teach Liara everything you taught me. You said one day I would become a greater Jedi than you. I don't think I am. I wouldn't even call myself a great Jedi. But I promise you this. I will train Liara to be a greater Jedi than me. I owe that to you. Be with me, Master. Give me the strength I need to keep her safe and train her properly. As he sat, he heard footsteps and opened his eyes to see Liara.
What are you doing?
Meditating. It helps calm my mind so I can focus on the Force.
Can I join you?
Of course. Sit. Legs crossed, hands on your knees. Liara sat as she was told and closed her eyes. Deep breaths in and out. Clear your mind. Liara breathed slowly in and out. The first thing I'm going to teach you is the Jedi Code, a creed that the Jedi live by. It's the cornerstone of our philosophy.
Okay.
I want you to repeat after me. There is no emotion. There is peace.
There is no emotion, there is peace.
There is no ignorance. There is knowledge.
There is no ignorance, there is knowledge.
There is no passion. There is serenity.
There is no passion, there is serenity.
There is no chaos. There is harmony.
There is no chaos, there is harmony.
There is no death. There is the Force.
There's no death, there's the Force.
Liara opened her eyes.
I don't get it. What's all that stuff mean?
It means everything. Everything you need to know about what a Jedi stands for is in this code. The Jedi do not let their emotions control them. Instead, they strive for peace within themselves. We cannot be ignorant of things beyond what we know. We must learn and grow and cherish the opportunity to learn all we can about the Force and about the galaxy as a whole. The more you learn, the more you gain wisdom and understanding. Passion is both an asset and a danger. As Jedi, we hold a degree of passion for who we are and what we do. But passion fueled by desire can lead you down a dark path. Rather than relying on our passion for our strength, we strive for serenity. The calm soul cannot be easily tainted or broken. Chaos is inevitable. There will always be those who strive for power and who will hurt whoever they need to achieve it. Instead of using our gifts to dominate and conquer, we must instead strive to live in harmony with others. We are all luminous beings through the Force. Inside you, there is a light. That same light is inside me, and in your mother, and Rondo, and every living thing. Through the Force, we are all as one.
Wow. What about death, though? Everyone dies sometime.
Yes, Liara. Death is the natural end to every journey. But we do not fear death as Jedi. When we pass away, we become one with the Force. We transcend and become something greater. The Force is life. When you think about it, death is not the true end, just another path. Liara's head was swimming, and Cassie's could tell she was a bit confused. Don't worry, Liara. As you train and grow, you'll start to understand. What I want you to remember is this. Fear is nothing to be ashamed of. Even the most powerful Jedi struggles with it. But fear can be overcome. Are you afraid?
A little.
Cassius put his hand on her shoulder. Then we'll overcome it together. Liara nodded and smiled as Cassius stood. You hungry? Liara smiled and walked with Cassius over to the bonfire where Rondo was cooking something.
Sleep well?
For the most part. I've made my decision. I trust your insight, Rondo. We'll go to Chandrala.
A fine choice. As long as you two keep a low profile and stay out of trouble, I doubt you'll have much issue with the Empire.
Good. I think we'll eat something and then head out. We could use some non-perishable food and a bit of fuel if you're willing to spare any. Rondo smirked.
Taking, and never giving.
Well, yeah, except for this entire ship and everything valuable inside it. Rondo chuckled.
Fair enough. We'll give you what you need.
How old are you, Mr. Rondo?
Liara, that's not polite. Rondo chuckled.
How old do you think I am?
60?
Then I'm 60.
Cassius put a hand on Liara. Liara, head to the nebulous and put on some clean clothes while I talk to Rondo.
Okay.
Liara turned and walked back to the ship as Cassius stood by Rondo.
She's a nice kid.
60? Given your species' lifespan, I'd say that's quite an accomplishment. Rondo smirked and laughed.
Well, 60 may have been, embellishing on my part a bit.
What, you're older? 63? 64?
I'd say I look pretty good for 76.
Cassius looked at him in surprise. 76? How the hell are you still here? Rondo smiled and patted his stout belly.
Lots of exercise.
Cassius and Rondo shared a laugh before Cassius made his preparations. Liara stepped off the ship wearing a dark purple shirt and black belt, and found Cassius loading a crate of food from Rondo. When we get to Chandrala, I want you to stay close, okay? When we find somewhere quiet to set up base, we can start your training for real.
Okay. What's Chandrala like?
Well, I've never been there personally, but my master went during a mission. She said it was beautiful. Just remember, though, we have to stay hidden. If you promise to be careful, it should be a good place to hide.
Okay.
Cassius finished loading the supplies and fueling the ship as the suns crept towards the top of the sky. That should do it. Ready, Liara?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Rondo walked over with his crew as Cassius stepped before them.
A shorter visit, but not unwelcome.
It was good to see you again, Rondo. Thank you for your help. Rondo held out his hand as Cassius shook it.
Just try to stay out of trouble there, Sean. I may not be around to bail you out next time.
I'll try. The two friends parted as Cassius led Liara into the ship and the ramp closed. Sitting in the cockpit, Cassius started the ship and ignited the thrusters as they lifted off the ground and into the sky. It'll be a little while before we get there. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. When do I get to use a lightsaber?
You're really eager to use one, aren't you?
Uh-huh. They look so cool.
Liara, you will wield a lightsaber when you're ready. A lightsaber isn't a toy. It's a responsibility. It's a very powerful weapon that has to be treated with respect and used with discipline and restraint. A Jedi's goal is to bring an end to conflict without ever having to use their weapon. Only in extreme circumstances should you have to use it.
Okay. How long did you have to wait before you were ready?
Well, I began my training when I was very little. As a trainee, we used low-powered lightsabers that wouldn't hurt us if we messed up. Unfortunately, those training lightsabers aren't something we have. So you and I will find another way to train you in combat. Liara looked out at the stars.
How many planets are out there?
More than you can count.
Have you been to all of them?
Caseus laughed. No, not even close. I've traveled to many different systems. Some were beautiful. Some, not so much.
Caseus? Why does the Empire not like you?
It's complicated, Liara. It wasn't always like this. The Jedi used to serve the Old Republic for generations. But the Emperor betrayed the galaxy and orchestrated a war that he could blame on the Jedi. By the time we realized what was happening, it was too late. And the Republic and the galaxy were turned against us. We were made to appear as the enemy. So they hunt us down. That's why I stay hidden.
But you're so strong. Why don't you fight?
Because I'm one man. Even with the Force as my ally, I'm not powerful enough to stop the Empire by myself. And the Emperor has many servants. Some are far stronger than I am.
I don't believe that. You're the strongest person I know.
Caseus smiled softly. Strength comes from more than just power and skill, Liara. One day you'll see that. Hours went by as Caseus answered Liara's endless stream of questions before she finally dozed off, giving Caseus a bit of peace as the ship flew closer to Chandrala. The beautiful blue oceans could clearly be seen as they approached. Liara, wake up. We're here. Liara stirred and opened her eyes to see the approaching planet.
Wow.
Caseus smiled. He had that same reaction the first time he left Coruscant with his master to see new worlds. They approached the atmosphere and flew through the clouds, seeing a large city beneath. No doubt the capital city. Liara's eyes were glued to the window as she stared in awe at the tall buildings and shimmering lights. Caseus looked around at the landscapes and saw in the distance over the sea a series of small islands, perfect to hide from wandering eyes. That's it. That's where we need to go. Caseus flew the ship closer until they landed by the shoreline. The ramp opened as Liara ran down the ramp and looked over the sea. She had never seen anything like this before. Running closer, she stepped into the cold water and laughed, picking up a seashell from the sand. Caseus stepped off and looked around. This island, as far as he could tell, was uninhabited. For the time being, it would be a suitable spot to begin her training. Okay, Liara, I'm going to cook us some dinner. Then it's off to bed so we can start in the morning.
Okay. Can I stay out here a little longer?
A little longer, but stay close. Caseus got a few canisters of food from the ship and set up a campfire on the sand, where he cooked the food and made 2 meals. Looking over, he saw Liara sitting in the sand, letting the water come over and lap at her feet. Liara, dinner. Liara got up and ran over to Caseus, sitting down to eat her meal. First thing tomorrow, we're going to run you through a few basic combat drills. After that, we're going to continue where we left off last time, lifting things with the Force and maintaining your balance.
All right. Caseus?
Yeah?
Can we go to the city sometime?
Maybe. But only after I'm confident that you won't get into trouble. Remember, we're here to train, not to go sightseeing.
Fine.
Caseus and Liara finished their meals before heading into the ship and going to sleep. As Caseus slept, however, Liara got out of bed quietly and went outside, staring out at the sea with the moon overhead.